Taiwan's opposition parties have jointly nominated former Taipei Deputy Mayor Lee Shu-chuan to run for new Taipei mayor. The main opposition Kuomintang and the smaller Taiwan People's Party have agreed to work together in Taiwan's upcoming local elections in late November. Lee's nomination was decided via phone polling. He beat out rival Chang, who chairs the TPP. Lee, a member of the KMT, will go up against Su Qiaohui from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party. New Taipei is Taiwan's biggest city by population, with over 4 million people living there. For more on Lee Shu-chuan's nomination and what it could mean for Taiwan's upcoming elections, Leslie Liao spoke with political analyst Courtney Donovan Smith.
Who is Lee Shu-chuan? What can you tell us about him?
Well, he's a technocrat. He's not a politician by nature or background. When there's a new mayor just elected to a top position, for example, Han Guoyu in Kaohsiung and Chang in Taipei, they bring him in as one of the deputy mayors. He had a lot of qualms about entering the race because, he views himself as, more of a civil engineering type. He likes to work on these projects for the city, not out on the campaign trail. And of course, that explains his English name, Hammer Lee, which he said he prefers having a hammer in his hand than a microphone.
You said that Lee Shu-chuan is a technocrat. Will that play to his advantage or his disadvantage for this upcoming election?
Both. And the reason I say that is that he does have a reputation for competence. And I think that a lot of people appreciate that. However, his lack of experience campaigning and his lack of experience acting as a politician, I think could also hurt him too. And recent polls have roughly a tie within the margin of error, for example, in a recent Formosa poll with Su Qiaohui. So, he has to now convince people in New Taipei that he really wants this job. Whereas, of course, the DPP Su has been very active, and she has been going out of her way to really work to communicate with people, and she is probably the only really bright spot right now on the DPP roster in northern Taiwan.
Does Lee Shu-chuan's nomination today have any bearing, or is it going to change the direction of the new Taipei mayoral race or the elections as a whole?
Well, the coalition, I believe the KMT will be hoping that the TPP will bring in their supporters. And the TPP generally does poorly amongst older respondents in polling, but they do reasonably well among younger voters. And that's a demographic that the KMT has really had trouble for many years now attracting. So I do think that the TPP does bring some things to the table that can help the KMT in New Taipei and in other areas in the country.
So coming into this nomination and revealing the poll numbers, both the KMT and the TPP said that they weren't going to publicize the poll numbers, but in the end, they did. Why do you think the organizers decided to flip that decision?
I suspect for two reasons. One is that the polling results suggest that Huang Guochang didn't lose by as badly or in such an embarrassing manner as I think a lot of people expected. And on the other hand, both the polls also showed a reasonable margin between Lee as the front runner and Su coming in fairly far behind. There is a big caveat here, and I'd be very curious to know what the questions were, because the aggregate numbers only added up to a little over 50%. So there was a huge percentage of people who were either not responding or said, I don't know, or something to that effect.
That was political analyst Courtney Donovan Smith.